Guys, hi, and thank you for joining me today. So this video is going to be a very short video. I'm not going to edit it or do anything about it. It is to my last video, the reaction video to reacting to the media affirmative action, right? The stance. And ever since I posted that video, and I want to make this follow up because I got a lot of reaction from it, but it's very polar opposite reaction. So either people who comment on my video are very, very against it. They're very upset with what I said. Um, and they're all also, every single one of them, I did look at their profile and look into their profile and their videos. They're all of a certain ethnic group, right? They're all of a group that would benefit from it. So they're biased. And then there's a whole nother group of people who absolutely agree with me and then sent me private emails to thank me for saying things that they're too afraid to say, right? And this is kind of highlight the political nature of this. It's very polarizing because it's political, right? And I never had an intention of being political, right? The what I am doing is someone with an academic advisor career that had advised other people to get into this dream school and to understand these academic processes really, really well. Was taking a very objective stance. I was not trying to take sides, but I have seen what it does to people, and I have seen how it impacts certain group of people in a very negative way of people who they're actually trying to help. And I was trying to present that in a very objective way, but I do have to acknowledge that when I was doing a reaction, I did get a little emotional about it. And it's not because I was upset with the students that are saying what they're saying, but it's because of the adults that's taking advantage of these trauma of these children, or the anger of these children or these teenagers, that they're taking advantage of them. And I did explain it in the video, but I didn't include it into the final piece because the reaction video was an hour long, right? So then I did cut it down to like around 30 minutes, which is still really long, but I did cut out half of it. So a lot of context were kind of cut out, and that might kind of leave out the context. So when I was going through my reaction, what really, really pissed me off the most was the presidents and the adults that are in charge of these programs, like at the HCBU, like the historically black colleges. I didn't really dislike the student in the colleges. It was not. I took out the part that I explained to it was that it was a financial scam where they were targeting kids that have certain type of anger and certain type of victim mentality that they were fed all through their life, that they were now, when you go to these HCBU school, usually they don't give a lot of scholarship. Usually it's almost none, right? While the same student that was very academically gifted may have gotten a scholarship at a regular school, right? And it was one of those things where they prey on people's mindset and victim and trauma to profit from it. So if you think you're gonna go to HCBU, you're gonna, and this is what I explained in the video, but I did cut it out, that you're going to be treated like you belong and not a number. You're completely wrong. You're treated like a dollar sign. It's a business, right? And these deans of these colleges, they'll prey on your ignorance and your victimhood to try to present a safe space for you, that, oh, if you go to a regular school, you're going to be oppressed and all these different things. Come over here and we'll protect you and you'll feel safe. And that is not the case, because when you go to a regular school, there's very, very huge anti discrimination initiative. Like the vast majority of colleges, and we're talking about 98% or 99% of colleges, especially all the big name schools, are all progressive. So if anyone tried to discriminate against you in these colleges, they'll be canceled, right? Everyone from the professor to the dean are very progressive, right? So to say that you're going to be victimized in these is just preying on your on these students' fear, and that's a very big scheme that a lot of people do acknowledge. And from someone as an academic advisor, had worked as an academic advisor for a few years now, who have understand the academic system very, very well, like the back of his hand. This is a thing, and a lot of academic advisor actually knows this, right? Is that these HBCUs schools they prey on your fear and anger, right? And it's a business at the end of the day, right? And if you're not going to acknowledge that fact, that it's a business and they just want your money and they don't really care about you, you're lying to yourself, right? But what? So that's what the context was missing. And a lot of people who commented on my video in a negative way completely miss the premise of what I'm trying to say. Is that what I'm saying is that people should not be discriminated against if they are black. It's just that everyone should get in based on merit. So when you have a merit base, like colorblind admission process, they don't know who you are, right? And the people keep saying it over and over, is that people are qualified to get in and they have the same score. It's just that if you have the same score, you're just going to take a person. That's not how it works. Every single academic advisor in this industry knows that that's not true. Every single one knows it. Even the progressive one, they understand that that's not true, but they actually like the outcome better, right? So they just like it, but they know that that's not true. So what is true is that people who get into these schools because of affirmative action got into these schools with lower SAT scores, LSAT score, MCAT score, and GPA. This is very, very well known. It's not debatable, right? So like if you're, let's say, a white or an Asian applicant to these school for these specialized program, you would need a way higher percentile. So you're looking at like the top 15% percentile, top 20 percentile of so like that's the top percentile, means that like of everyone who took the exam, you have to be the top 20%, right? To be able to even be considered, but to look good, you want to be at the top 10 percentile, right? But if you're not from that category of ethnicity, you could be in the 50 percentile. So you're at the average, you're at the middle, or you could be lower, right? And that was something that it's very, very clear to every single advisor that it was the case. And when they're advising people, that's what they would kind of look at, like, oh, well, your ethnicity this and your score is this, it's okay, right? So, but if your ethnicity is this, but your score is this, well, you need a little bit more. Every single advisor knows this, right? This is not a a fake thing. And then the other thing that I have seen over and over was that just because a school is colorblind, they'll still discriminate against you because of your name, if your name sounds like more African American or black, right? So if you have a last name of Washington or something, but that's also been proven wrong. That's not true, right? Schools are extremely progressive. They're extremely progressive. Every single school, like 99% of schools are progressive, and maybe 1% are conservative, and even the conservative ones don't discriminate. This is a lie that's being perpetuated to get you guys angry so that you would vote a certain way, and that you would go to a certain school for their profit, right? Because you want the safe space. But no, like anti-discrimination is very, very big in every single school, and they actually don't want too many white or Asian. They actually want black applicants, and they actually, because of colorblind application, if your name sounds a little bit more African American, they actually would like to take you more over the others. This has been a proven fact, and you cannot dispute this. and all the new article that you guys want to send to me, those are all very biased left-leaning news media, and that was what's the point of this video, is to show the bias of these news medias, of that they don't know what they're talking about, and they just want like the very colorful pamphlet. They didn't really care about the students. And my last point is that the students that got into these schools because of affirmative action, they can't compete with the people who got in without, because of affirmative action, your score, and this everyone knows this, is lower, right? The LSAT score, the MCAT score, the GPA score, the SAT score, the ACT score, all the other score that you need to get into the school are lower, and every single academic advisor knows this. It's lower by a lot. It's not by a little bit, right? And to say that this student is just as qualified to be at a school is a very, very misnomer, because to be qualified to get into Harvard is a 2.0 GPA. 2.0 GPA with like a 1,000 or 750 SAT score. That's ridiculous. That's so low. But the qualification score and the median score is completely two different, because a 2.0 GPA is not indicative of someone who should get into Harvard. And that's something that if you get into Harvard because of just the minimum qualification, because of affirmative action, you're not going to be able to compete with the top of the top people there who are at the very, very top of the game, that way above their qualification. So the Asian does get in there, or they have to be at the 10th percentile, and if the Ivy Leagues, they have to be at the 1 percentile, right? And that even hard for them to get in. For people who are of a different ethnic descent, from the data, it's actually, they're at the 50th percentile and they're still able to get in, and they're not able to compete. And the data have shown this, right? There's many, many articles and many, many evidence to show that, like, the people that get in because of affirmative action graduated at the bottom of their class, or they dropped out, right? And which means that they wasn't able to finish, versus if these people were to get into a school that better suit them for their median score, they would have better success. Because when you're at these top school and you're not able to compete with the top, you're just going to be pushed down, and you're just going to do a C gets degree type aptitude, and you're just memorizing and brain dumping, and you're not able to get the skills that you need. And the problem is that is the problem, right? And people will argue, well, it doesn't matter if you graduate at the bottom of your class, you make all this network. And it's not as clear as you think. With all the people that goes there, you may make the network and you may not make them network, right? That's not a set in stone just because you go to Harvard, right? I know people who went to community college like myself. We made really good network at our community college, right? And then we went to a bigger school and we didn't make a lot of network because we're busy studying all the time, right? So there's a bit of a disconnect between those two things. And I could go through every single message, and I did make a promise to myself that I was going to comment on every single comment, but it seems that for this type of topic, it's actually a bad idea, because it makes me seem defensive, but I wanted to do it so that I would be able to have a engagement and treat you guys like a human being, instead of just a view on my counter, right, or subscription. So look, I am sorry that what I said may offend a few of you, but what I said is not based on politics or out of hate or based out of discrimination. It's just based out of pure number statistics of what affirmative action does and how it poorly impacted everyone involved, including the people that it was supposed to help, right? And based on those data, I made my decision. This is not politically motivated at all. Okay, so if you have any concerns or questions further, please comment below. I'll be sure to comment. But if you have a lot of fire and anger, in your heart, and that's what it seems like from a lot of the comments, you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're just looking at a very selfish attitude of what you want better for yourself. Um, and you don't care what everyone else have to say, right? And that was kind of the attitude that I was getting. So going forward, I look forward to making this or having this conversation with you guys some more. And have a good day. Have a great time, and be sure to subscribe and like. And if you need help with advising, comment below. Right? Bye bye. Peace.